Hi artists, we're reading Ottoline at the British Museum. Ottoline knew she was beautiful because people were always telling her so. She sat in the window of her London house, and even strangers would stop outside to admire her long white fur and blue eyes. But it was a lonely life because she never saw any other cats. Except the orange hisser. He sat on the garden wall and spat at her. On the other side of this wall, there was a huge house with lots of windows and tall white pillars. All day long, people went up and down the steps. Ottoline thought they all lived there, so perhaps some friendly cats lived there too. One afternoon, when the orange hisser wasn't around, Ottoline jumped over the wall. Nobody noticed her sneaking up the wide white steps. Nobody saw her hiding behind one of the tall white pillars. So she just slipped in through the door when it opened. Inside, the walls were so high she couldn't see the top. All around her were legs, boots, shoes, sandals, ankles, toes, but no paws. Ottoline crept through to another room. Suddenly, she saw the most gigantic cat. Its great mouth was open as if roaring, but no sound came out. Ottoline's fur stood on end, but none of the people in the room took any notice. Perhaps it's only yawning, thought Ottoline, but she hurried past all the same. Further on, there were two people with friendly cat faces. They seemed to be patting their laps and asking her to jump up, but she knew she would just slide off their hard, shiny skirts. Ottoline preferred somewhere soft to curl up. "Let's go and see the mummies," somebody said. That sounded interesting because Ottoline was beginning to feel hungry. Perhaps one of the mummies would give her some food. So she followed the people up the stairs, past a picture of fish on a dish, which was a very good sign. "Here we are," the people said, but there was no fish, no milk, not even a tin opener in sight. There were some cats, though. They were sitting on shelves in rows. Ottoline rushed up to talk to them, and bang! Her nose hit cold glass. The cats didn't move. They couldn't move. They were all bandaged up and their eyes were empty. "Those cats have been dead for thousands of years," somebody whispered. Ottoline felt very frightened. Who would put all those cats into glass boxes? Ottoline didn't want to be caught like that, so she hid in a dark corner. Suddenly a voice called, "The galleries are closing now." Ottoline was too scared to move until everybody had gone. Then she realized she didn't know the way out. There were so many doors and so many rooms, and they all looked the same. She ran and ran until round a corner she saw a long line of people in blue uniforms. They each carried a big bunch of keys. "These are the ones who lock up the cats," thought Ottoline, and she turned tail and fled. From far away she heard voices echoing, "Good night, Rex. See you tomorrow, Lil." Then the whole place went quiet. She was on her own, shut in. Suddenly all the lights went out, and out of the darkness she heard a comforting, purring, whirring sound. She crept towards it very slowly. The cat-like sound got louder and louder. Purr, purr, purr. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. All around her were ghostly faces with numbers on them, leering and looming and laughing at her. Boom, crash, boom! All the clocks chimed together. Ottoline shot out of that room so fast that her paws hardly touched the ground. With a flying leap, she jumped into a tree. Well, Ottoline thought it was a tree, but it had no leaves and no branches. She slithered down to the ground right in front of a great sea of breathing, screaming, purring, fighting, jostling, real live cats. They swept her along with them in a glorious wave of fur right out through a door and into the fresh air. And there, under a notice saying "Authorized Cat Feeding Place," stood one of the men in uniform. He didn't seem at all frightening now, because he was dishing out bowls of delicious cat food. "Hello," he said. "You're new. Come on, tuck in." And who do you think shared his bowl with Ottoline? Why, the orange hisser himself. Only he wasn't hissing now. He was purring. And so was she. This is the British Museum, her new friends told her. Everybody is welcome here. Always. The end.